Hello and welcome to Buckman's Model Mania. Today I'll be working on the Volkswagen T1 from Fan Home issue 95. That is going to be the tail end of the VW. And on top of this part, I'll also need this part, which we have not seen in a long time. Looks like a light is going to go in here somehow, probably in the engine compartment. So let me go ahead and get the book open and the parts out. A little bit out of breath. I was just playing with one of our dogs. He's a little fruitcake. He was running back and forth while I was throwing stuff and got a little bit winded myself. So let me go ahead and get this pack open. And there are, as you can see, a lot of parts in this issue. Pop the double pack out. So we have the rear end. Let me see. I do not see. Maybe I'm just missing it. Ah, there it is. It was underneath the screws. 3 different kinds of screws. Got some hinges here. This is... Okay, so that's plastic. These are strut brackets 1 and 2. And this is the engine cover strut. They did not get the photo etch cleanly sanded. Get this out of the way. I don't think it's going to matter, but there's a little bit of a, you can see where they cut it off the sprue there. So let me see if I can knock that down a little bit. Hang on. That's looking for a flat metal file. That'll work better on this. It's not quite photo etch, it's a little bit thicker than normal photo etch. And I don't think that is going to matter, that little bit there, but I prefer my stuff to be as clean as possible. Almost. Okay. It's not going to show up in the camera, but that's now sanded down. So let's go ahead and turn the page and get started. So the first thing it has it's doing, and it's different from most times. Usually you're putting the hinge on here and then doing the pin. Instead, what it wants you to do is put the hinges on and put the pin in. And let me show you how that actually fits on there. Interesting. Ah, okay. Because it's actually going to stick back when it's closed. Let me go ahead and put that one on there. Okay, so we've got BD or BP09s, BD04. I do not see any pins. So I'm going to pause the camera real quick because I think I might be missing pins. I'll be right back. Okay, so I went back and I looked, and they're right there. They're taped in there instead of being in a bag. So They were in the package, they just were not very obvious that they were there. Let me get my tin over here. As usual, come on. I believe they have the striations on them so that they will not slide all the way through. Yeah, they do. And I doubt you're going to be able to see it in the camera. To the right, there are the little striations. So let me turn this back over. Let me see. It looks like they're putting them in from the outside. I don't think it matters. It's kind of funny. They got them going in from the outside on one side and on the inside on the other. Or actually, it's the same hinge, but they've got it going in two different ways. That fell down in the pictures. So let me get this lined up. Okay, so there it is, most of the way in. This is where you take your needle nose pliers, almost said noodle nose, and push it in there. And it's pretty firm, so it's not going to come out. We do the same thing with this one. You have to make sure that the striations are going in last, otherwise you'll never get it all the way through. Oops. Pulled the hinge out. Back in there to where the pin will go through it. Come on. There we go. Drop down. Needle nose pliers. Ah, shit. Excuse my French. I just scratched a little bit of the paint. There's a little bit of a scuff there. Not going to matter that much. Still not happy with how far that pin is in. But that's going to have to do it. So now the hinges are on there. Move this out of the way, move these out of the way. So you turn both parts over, the rear end of the car, and the door, the engine compartment door. You set it in there just like that, with the pin or the screw holes lining up. Those are going to be held in place by 4 BDO8s. Get the BDO8s open. Put these in there. These are going to be going into metal, so we're going to dip them in the oil. There's 4. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to get one in on either side and then go back and get the other ones in. Get one started, not in. Come on. Nope, not quite. Ah, had an extra one here. Or no, that's the one that was on there. This might be a little fiddly. If it keeps causing problems, I will do this off camera, but I think we should be okay. Okay, that one started. We got one started on the other hinge. What I'm having to do is hold the hinge up far enough to where the screw is actually matching up with the metal of the back end. That one started. Switch to the bigger screwdriver. The third one started. Only that first one was being a royal pain in the So tighten the last one all the way down. And just work my way back the opposite direction of what I started them in and get them all tightened down. And that is what it looks like once it's done. Should be able to, it takes a little bit of an effort to pop it open. A little bit of push up to get it to open or to close. Opens easier than it closes. That's kind of funny. Okay, so turn this back over because the next thing they want you to do is put this part here. This was one of the supports for the hinge arm. Put this part right here. It'll stay there. Let me see, strut back bracket. That one goes in with 2 more BDO8s. Dip this in glue. You want to make sure that when you're doing this, this pin and that socket are towards the inside. That one started. It's a little bit, it's interesting how they give you these little tiny parts that you can barely even grab hold of anyway. And say, put screws in it. Okay. Tighten it down snug. Do not over tighten. This is a plastic part. You do not want to snap it. You don't want to split it. And there, that's it right here. It's actually a little bit loose. Okay. And it says to put this other one over here on the other side, and it actually has this little lug pointing to the outside. Oh, I lied. Sorry. It doesn't go over on the other side. It goes right here. And that little lug is pointing towards the inside or the outside of the car there. And that goes in as well with 2 BDO8 screws. Dip in the oil. There's one. Get the other one started. There's a lot going on with just a little door here. So hold it in place while I tighten the screws down. And that is where this hinge is going to go. Short the short end here, let me lay it in place. The short end is going to go to the bottom. The long end is going to go to the top. Pretty obvious. And that's going to be 2 BP09 screws. I do like the fact that this came with a screw box that almost holds exactly the right amount of stuff. It was one of the free, quote unquote, free gifts. Since these are going into plastic, I will not be dipping the screwdriver in, or the screws into oil. I'm just looking. Okay, so of note, that is interesting. Your screws are going to both come in from this side. This piece here is going to be on the right hand side. So let me get the longer one attached. I almost wonder if it would have been better to put this in first. Let me rotate the short one. And as soon as I have this one started, I'll show you what I'm talking about, because it's kind of, to me, it's counterintuitive where I would have put it. Did it not have the pictures, etc.? That is a little bit tight there. Okay. They're both loose, but what I'm talking about is right here. That makes sense that this one's on the right-hand side. This one, I expected to go on the left-hand side, but it goes on the right-hand side. So let me go ahead and tighten both of these all the way down. Just snug, not even completely snug, just enough to where they're not going to come out, because you need to be able to have this piece move. I'm not really happy with that being plastic. So that's in place, and it says to make sure that the door operates. The bottom one can go a little bit further. Might be a hair too snug, but with use or lack of use, it'll get better. But it opens. And actually, I like that because it holds it. And there is a stop. That pin there is a stop. Let's see. I think. So the BD04s, see, 7 of them. It says to hold on to them for a later session. I'm going to tighten that now. Tighten those both down a little bit more. Just make sure BDO. It shows 6. I'm going to tighten it down just a hair more on both, because I like the fact that it will stay open like that. So it'll stay open. That's actually supporting it. It's got the stop there. And then it's still pretty solid to close it. That's very weird, because it just pushes open really easy. It doesn't close really easy. Just looking, I do not remember how that part went on there. think it's just it's just a push. I'm not going to worry about pushing it all the way in. Maybe eventually I will, but it should be easier to close than it is right now. And it's so odd that it pops in, but just a little bit of a push. That latch just doesn't quite want to do the right thing. I may sand that off eventually, file that off to where it's not blocking it, so it's not as hard to close. But that is all there is to do in this stage, and we have the rear end of the van. I think it looks really awesome. I believe this gets attached to the car in the next stage. Hope you're enjoying this. I think it's a fantastic build. I'm enjoying it a lot. Like and subscribe. Come on over to Hobby Time Modelers on Facebook, YouTube, and Discord. See what we're doing. Links will be in the description. Hit that bell icon if you want to be notified anytime I post a new video. Take care of yourselves. Take care of each other. Have a great day. Have a great day tomorrow. And I will see you on the next video.